This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. So, hi everyone. So, welcome to the world of testing. So, just before getting in deeper into manual testing, so what you have already know about testing concepts or what exactly the testing is all about. So, would like to know from each one of you before getting into the actual topics or everything. So let's make the session is more interactive and it's not like the one to many. Let's have the session is one to one so that the session will be more interesting and you can understand very well about the sessions and everything. Okay, so let's know each other and discuss about the manual testing more. So what do you know all about the testing?
In testing, we have functional and non-functional testing.
Okay. First of all, I agree with the point, but so first of all, why do we have to do the testing? Is it all
For
necessary in this
quality,
current real world?
for
Mm.
quality,
So, so I think from the testing point of view, we can say that if you're making any product or if you're doing anything process, we just want to be it's like bug free. The final product will come in the quality wise. It's like for the customer point of view, there will be no bugs, and we will fix the problems before delivering the product to the customers. So, we can say we are the validating whatever the process we are following is accurate so that the final product will be bug free and there will be like no issues from the customer point of view or like we are saying like verifying also the steps whichever we are following for developing a product.
Okay. So another follow-up question to you, Vidushi. So do you think any product will be 100% free with bugs
No,
before
I don't
handing
know.
over to the client?
Because like we are humans and like well there might be some percentage but so so if we are following the correct steps whatever like the process document is saying that we have to deliver this product, so the steps we are following we are just validating with our process document also, and like we are checking manually what are the processes, like what are like whatever the features we are putting in the process or in the product. So we are just verifying everything like because like there might be the chances that in the when we are like give the product to the customer in the actual world, so there might be some issues and it will be like harmful for the customer uh, goodwill, you can say. Like so I can say that it's not 100% like because we can't like catch the bugs everything, but verifying everything might be the chances like we will like successfully deliver a good product to the customer.
Yeah, so agree with all the points. So as Vidushi mentioned that, so why testing is necessary, how we need to perform the testing. So it will be based upon a few of the standards that have been already predefined as per the IS-2. But why exactly that we require testing means with the current world, so you might be using a plenty apps or a web applications or desktop applications, so whatever source application that you are using, so some other times you are facing some challenges while using the applications. Okay, so let's take an example as a Gmail. So while you're accessing the Gmail or while you're composing an email or while you're sending any of the attachments, uh, it might be working now, but it may not be working in the future due to some of the existing issues that are not caught earlier. Okay. So if let's assume if you found any of the issues by that time, so what is the user experience? So you as a user, what is your expectations or what is your thing at the time of using the application? Right, so just to avoid those sort of inconveniences to the user or with respect to more concentrating on the user experiences, so we are performing the testing at the right time, at the time of developing an application, or once the development is completed for any of the set-in modules, so we will start involving with all the testers into the application for testing it. Okay, but how we are doing, and why do we need to require a testing, or when to do the testing, so everything will be predefined as per the process from project to project. So agree with me with all the points? Okay, in the future.
Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry, sorry. Actually, I just want to know your answer for your question, because you asked me, is the testing is like 100% accurate? I just want to know your answer so that like we can clarify my doubt also, and everybody if having any doubts.
yeah, so I can say that, so even I have played many roles into the organization, starting from QA to the associate QA. So now I'm a project manager, so with the whole experience that I have gained till now, yes, the 100% bug free is possible, is person to person. Let's assume if I am testing, I strictly go by the requirements, and I can say confidently that yes, whatever the requirements that have been provided, and based on the requirement, I have tested 100% based on the test coverage techniques that I have chosen and everything. Yeah, but as a consideration with respect to the integrations, so there is a possibility with integrating my module to the other module, but at that time anything can be broken. But as you said, as a human being, we can't give a guarantee that whatever I tested may work or may not work in the future once it is being delivered to the UAT or a QA environment from dev to QA. But as a testers, we should have a confidence that yes, whatever you are doing, it's 100% correct as per the given business requirements, and we should have to maintain that confidence. Otherwise, I mean, like if you feel that okay, you are doing your best, but you should provide your best to best while you're testing the application. Otherwise, we may lose, or there might be a possibility that defect leakages in your current module, whatever you are working on. So that is the answer to my to the questions that I have posted. Hope it is it boosts you up, and increases your confidence to the more. And you should think that you are the best, and you are doing very best to the requirements whatever is which has been provided to you. Okay,
Yeah, thank
let me sorry, Vidushi, please go ahead.
I was just saying thank you. Thank you for getting my doubts. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I mean, today it's just the demo. So I would like to present you what we are gonna discuss in the future classes, as well as I came up with a small kind of a slide just to start with the intro about what is testing, why the testing, and what are all the different testing techniques that we had, so that that will be helpful just to brainstorm a couple of topics related to the manual testing. Okay, let me start sharing my screen. Please confirm whether you are able to see the screen or not. Is
We
the
can,
screen visible to everyone?
yeah.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And so I came up with a list of the topics that that can be helpful for you guys to learn more about the manual testing. And so these are all the topics with my experience and with the knowledge that I gained till now. So I came up with list. Not only that, with the current trend in the market, so I've just included a couple of other topics as well. So first, we will be just going through fundamentals of testing, and then so obviously, I mean, so whenever you might have completed your degree, or graduates, so you might have learned about what is software life cycle. So we should know, or it's a kind of a recap that all we need to know what is all about. SDLC. And so I just provided one traditional waterfall model versus the agile model. So I don't want to go digger and deep into the what is a fish model or what is a V model. So that is not required at all by this stage, I think. So we'll just only discuss about the traditional waterfall as well as the current trending agile scrum methodologies, and what exactly the process which is being followed with respect to the different throughout the software lifecycle. And then while coming to the testing categories, so I'm categorizing into black box testing, white box testing, and just only that. So whatever it is required, that is only I'm planned to deliver, because otherwise if we can go into what is gray box, I have seen a lot of people in the interviews, and what is a gray box, those are not required. So just come to the point, what is a black box testing, what is white box testing. If you applied as a candidate for with zero experience, even if you are 1 year or 2 years experience, no one is going to ask about what is a gray box or something else. Just black box, you need to all know what is black box testing and what is white box testing. And the first and primary topic which required to know with respect to manual testing is test design techniques. So what all the test design techniques as a tester you will be using while you are preparing your test scenarios or test cases. So we will be discussing about all this mentioned test design techniques. Okay, and then there are various types of testings that we will be continuing with, like a component testing, integration system. So likewise there are plenty, but as I mentioned, what is apt apted and what is required, that you guys need to know, that only I'm explaining about it all. Otherwise you'll definitely be confused with all the topics. And then integration testing, one of the very important topic in the testing types. So everyone, wherever you go in the interviews, definitely there will be one question for the integration testing. So what is an integration testing? Okay, so that's the reason I've mentioned, and the approaches for the integration testing. Okay, and then system testing, and one of the important question in the interviews is what is the difference between sanity and smoke. So likewise retesting, another testing question, like interview question, what is the difference between retesting and regression testing. So likewise I have mentioned all the required testing types everyone need to know. Okay, and then test case designing. So how like by this end of this topic, we all come to know what is the testing is all about, and what all the different testing types that are involved in the testing. And then what is the current trending software life cycle that is most of the projects are using in all the organizations. So we will come to know by this all the topics. But while coming to the test case design, how you actually try to draft the test case design. So test case design is nothing but your how you can be able to create the test scenarios or test cases. So I'll try to explain with any of the dummy requirements to let you know more about it. Okay, and then test execution and planning the test. So once you drafted all your scenarios, or once you created all your test cases, how exactly you need to plan it. Okay, so let's assume you're not following agile scrum methodology. It's just a kind of a mixed, like a waterfall as well as the agile process. In that situation, how what is your approach in start with the test execution? What should be the priority test suite or test cases that will be picked up for the testing? Okay, so we will be discussing in this topic. And test management, I don't know how many of you are already experienced guys, or I'm not aware of it. But with respect to the testing, the another foremost important topic is all about the test management. So in test management, we will be discussing about what exactly, because if you are starting with any of your work, you might have already been planned how you need to deliver that work, right? In the same way, if you're trying to perform some testing to any of the application, so we should define with some sort of a plans. So that's all about the test management, like a test plans, estimations and strategies, and like obviously monitoring and control. It's not blindly that okay, we are doing a testing and these are all the issues identified, but it has to be properly monitored and properly controlled. Okay, that is all about the test management that we are going to discuss it. And test review. So anyone can do the test case preparation and anyone can do the test execution, but one of the very important point is test review. Whether you drafted scenarios or drafted test cases or appropriate as per the requirement or not will tell all about the test review. So let's assume some person is prepared or came up with some sort of a list of test cases, but those prepared test cases are up to the mark as per the test design techniques or with respect to the coverage wise or good to go with the testing for so and so requirement else tells all about the test review. So your test review should be very perfect. Okay, so under that test review we will be doing a peer reviews and a review process. In so I just differentiated with the traditional versus agile again, how we can be able to do the review process in general. And at the same time, just to maintain the more clear clarity with respect to the requirements that are available, to the number of test cases, to the number of defects that are found for each requirement, we will be creating a traceability matrix. I know most of them are already preparing in the industry, but none of them know about what is a traceability matrix. They are maintaining, but they doesn't or they don't use the word traceability. But the traceability matrix is the one some kind of a summary sheet will clearly show about what a person have performed the testing or what exactly have been performed in any of the project or not. Okay, so let's assume you drafted all the test cases, you done the execution and everything is done, but how you gonna maintain the defects or issues? So that we'll talk about defect life cycle, and we will be discussing how we are gonna logging the defects, how to triage the defects, and how we can be able to closure. So defect triage might be a little new term, but I don't know, most of the trainers won't include the defect triage, but I would like to introduce it because you need to know the process. What is the triaging of the defects all about? So triaging of the defects, it's nothing but just deciding the priority and severity of the defect. And finally, might be at initial role plays like QA levels, associate QA levels, the reporting might not be that matter. But when you started with your leads and associate leads or architect, QA architect levels, reporting will comes into the picture as a primary role to them, or a primary key thing to them, because whatever the team have performed on a daily basis or whatever the complete pictorial representation of the project, where exactly the project is all about with respect to testing, we'll talk about everything under reporting. It can be a daily reporting or it can be a weekly reporting. So I let you guys know how you can be draft a simple daily status report, as well as how you can be able to draft the weekly status reports. And then it's a test closure. So we are done with the testing, so the test closure term or terminology will comes only when you are done with your testing. So test closure, so test closure is nothing but, okay, you are providing your assurance that okay, we are done with all the planned test cases execution, we are done with all the retesting of all the logged defects into the system. Now we are in a good shape to deliver the product from QA environment to the UAT or QA environment to the staging environment. So likewise, you should prepare a set of a kind of a report with all the information whatever you have done, starting from test case design to the defect, so that everything will comes under the test closure. So actually we should have closed the sessions by test closure, but I thought that it's good that you guys will know about like hands-on applications, like I'll just try to get one sample application that everyone can be able to access it and practice with test case preparation and execution and defect logging and tracking the defects and test closure. So all these activities you will be doing on your own, and I'll be the reviewer for all of you. And then whatever the task that I'm going to provide you guys, that you can submit it to me, and then I'll be reviewing and I'll provide my inputs to you guys for your further improvements. And with this, we will be closing our manual testing concepts and all the course. So the question from my end is, apart from the topics which I listed over here, so are you guys are expecting anything else that I can be able to do it, or any further more concepts which are looking for? If you can just let me know, and if it is possible, anything that I can be try to include. So this is all about the curriculum that we planned for this manual testing course.
Are we going to
Any
cover
inputs
Jira
from
too?
anyone? Jira, okay. So we can. I don't know. Is there a free trial version to access the Jira? But I'll give it a try. So you would like to track the hands on everything under Jira?
Yes, Jira or Rally.
Okay. Rally, I don't think so, but I'll try to get the Jira if it is possible and the free trial is available. Otherwise, everything should be under the documents. But I'll give it a try and I'll let you know. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks for the input. And any further inputs from anyone?
Yeah, hi Isha. Actually, my main the concern is that I'm not from the non-IT, so I just little favor that if you explain the terms which you used in the while discussing with the developer, like what are the terms, so that little input, little more how for the non-IT person, it's it's difficult to understand the terms and how to work. So I just want little extra time to explain the terms, or what are the, because see, I'm from the accounts background and I did my MBA, but right now it's I think that manual testing is a great opportunities in the market as comparison to the finance. So I just want little more time to explain the terms and terminologies uh, to for the non-IT person to learn, or you can give us a input for the non-IT person, like what we need to do at home, so that we can learn more and grab as much as you can, and give you little issues when you are explaining something. So it will be a really great help for us, like for me especially.
Sure, Vidushi, I understood your point. But as I mentioned in early session, right? Whenever I just started, so wherever you feel you require more information, you just interrupt me in between. Okay, and then I'll just try to explain more. Even after that explanation also, if you feel any further questions or any further clarifications are required from my end, I'll provide my email ID, or we both will have a one-to-one call, because I don't want to drag the session more, and I don't want to disturb the other team. I understand your concern and I understand your point, what you're just trying to say, but interrupt me in between wherever more clarification or clarity required for any of your queries. But even after that, still required anything more, I'll try to get it clarified on a one-on-one, maybe end of the session, or I'll try to provide more material to you once you approached me. Will that work, right?
Yeah, thank you so much. So, Isha, you will just one more question. So, you will give us some reading material online, so that because after the class over, so if you want to learn more from where is there any slides you will provide us to read and to go through, or how we will go through with this? Because if you will give us some PPT something.
Yes, Vidushi. So my plan is to do the same as well, because on a daily basis I'll come up with some sort of a PPTC, like anyway that I need to explain all the concepts, right? So I mean, I thought to showcase something to you guys so that you'll get to know more about it. Okay, but yeah, so you said you're a non-background IT, right? So I think the PPTs which I am providing, it will help you, but only till some extent. I think now I've thought that it's good if I can you know uh, provide you the more material. So I mean, I'll try to do that, but anyway I'll be sharing the PPT at the end of each session.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Any further inputs or any suggestions, please go ahead.
Do we need a system or anything else in terms of hardware that's needed for the training?
No, so hardware or a software wise, nothing has been required. But I mean, just for the practice sessions, you just need a laptop, like Excel sheets for preparing the test cases. Or, I mean, as I mentioned, I'll be taking one web application as an example to explain you more in depth, right? So, just to access that web application, you might need internet access and one system preferably. That's it. Nothing like any specific requirement to hardware and software.
Will there be video recordings of the class? Will it just be some documents that you will share with us?
So we will be recording anyway the sessions. I think those sessions will be available for you to go through further even after the class. But you still can reach out to me if you have any further queries. Okay, I'll ask the admin team to provide my email ID so that you can just drop me an email. So I'll for sure, definitely, I can respond to your email.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further suggestions, please, before getting into our actual topic, or just a kind of a intro to the manual testing? Please feel free, and let's have the session more interactive so that we'll just come to know each other. And whatever the queries that you have, I'll try to answer them as my level best. Okay, I'll take silence as a no for now, but I mean, feel free, and any further questions, just type in the chat or something so that I'll just come to know. Okay, so this is the curriculum. I feel the only suggestion that I have got it in the explanation with respect to Jira. So, but I'll give it a try today whether we can be able any trial version or anything that can be accessible through web or not for Jira for all of us. Okay, I'll confirm you by tomorrow. Okay, so so this is the just an introduction concepts today that we will be delivering today. I mean, if the time permits, I'll try to complete. If not, we'll continue the session from tomorrow, the rest. Okay, so the plan for the today's contents is why testing is necessary, what is testing types, and software testing principles. I don't think so, most of us will skip this software testing principles, but these principles are as part of ISTQB standard principles that every tester should know about all these testing principles. Okay, so we will be discussing each and every point about these principles as well. Okay, so let's get into why is the testing necessary. Okay, so this is all about why is testing necessary. I think we had already covered why the testing is necessary. So testing is essential because as we discussed that we are humans. So definitely, even he have a 10 years of experience in development, he or she can do mistakes while he's coding or while he's developing any of the application. So just to caught those mistakes or those issues at the time of a development, we will be, as a testers, we will be involving in the application for testing purpose and to caught those issues. Okay, and you might have got a question, where exactly, or what is the position of the tester, when to involve at the time of a testing, or where to involve, which phase to involve. So those phases related, and when to involve, and what exactly the position with respect to the manual tester, that I'll be letting you guys know when we talking about the SDLC topics. Okay, but one thing that I need to let you know, guys, is why is the testing necessary. Let's assume, as I mentioned, right, you are doing your bank transaction. Okay, you are doing your bank transaction, and you know it's an amount 100 rupees or 200 rupees should be okay. But if you are doing a transaction with respect to the lakhs, okay, you are trying to transfer to your friend with an amount of 1 lakh or 2 lakhs, and unfortunately, instead of to your friend, it is been transferred to some other person, unfortunately, due to some issues at the background in the application. Okay, that issue have not got at the time of testing, like a QA environment, or in a even in a UAT environment, or even in a pre-prod environment. Okay, but unfortunately it is got caught in the production environment. Okay, so what is the loss to the bank? So with the example that I have provided, what is the loss to the bank? Any guesses around it?
The credibility or the goodwill of the, like, because it's like the hard-earned money is transferred to the other bank account, so it's like hurt their goodwill in the market.
Yeah, exactly. And the customer will start panicking, and he'll try to irritate the banker, or he can go directly, or he can call to the customer care. He'll start asking many questions. So definitely it's just the matter of a single transaction to the customer, but it's a kind of a complete reputation to the banker. Okay, so because of one transaction issue at the background, it's the complete reputation of the banker might have damaged. So because of that, the early testing, so I'm introducing another term called as a early testing. So it is always required to perform early testing wherever it is required. So wherever it is required, what I mean to say is, whenever, as and when the development is completed, the proper testing of the application is required, and we should, it is responsibility of the developer as well as the tester required to do the testing whatever it has been developed. Okay, and there might be trivial defects, or a high defects, or a critical defects. So here I am introducing the levels of the defects here, like a categories of the defects. It can be trivial, that's okay. It's just with the same banking example, I can say that you created an account in so and so bank, and your name is by mistakenly printed something else. Still it's an issue, but it is not got damaged, like the reputation of the bank is not lost, or a customer is not panicking. It's just a matter of name change, so I can consider that as a trivial defect. But a critical defect, what I was just explained about the transaction issue, is a critical, not even a critical, it's a kind of a blocker issue. Okay, so that is where we need to try to define the levels, or the severities of the defect types. It can be a trivial, high, or it can be block or defect as well. So it depends on the consequences of the errors when it is got caught, or I mean, like, what exactly the situation the error got occurred. Okay, and the rigorous testing of the requirements, like requirements, what I mean to say, requirements are nothing but to develop any of the application, a client might be having certain sort of views and points from their end. My application should be in this shape. and this should be my login page, and this should be my view of the home page. So something like that, they'll be providing some sort of information. That information I'm calling it as a requirement. I'm just going deeper and deeper. I think Vidushi is the one, she said she's a non-IT. I don't know how many other or non-IT candidates are there. So that's the reason I'm just going little digger and deeper into the further more information. Okay, just stop me if any further more clarity is required. Okay, requirement. So what is a requirement? It's, for client it is nothing but information, because he is investing and he's providing a billing, or he's providing a money to the our company, and he's providing some information. That information I'm calling it as a requirement. So based on that information, I have a development team, and development team will be developing the application. But what could be the background of the application? It can be on Java, it can be on .NET, or it can be on Pega, or it can be on so and so APN. So based on a market trend, it's the decision of the client what is the background of the application, on what the application to be built upon. It's completely the decision made by the client. Okay, because if your expertise it's in Java, client definitely will approach us and he'll provide us. So this is the information that I have currently. I want this application to be ready by so and so date, and he will give us the more information, and that information is nothing but the requirement. So based on those requirements, we will be developing the application. Okay, so generally in any of the project will consist of a development team, as well as the testing team, as well as the business architectures. So business architectures are nothing but the BAs who actually closely work with the clients, who can get the more requirements to develop the application. Okay, so and then, so based on a gathered requirements, our team, who formed as a development team, starting from system architect to the developers, the senior developers, so anyone from the team, they start doing or implementing the application with the given requirements. Okay, so once the application is developed, let's assume I've got for the release, I'll talk this requirement with respect to the release wise. Let's assume for the release one, around 50 defects are identified and 50 defects to be developed, and those 50 defects to be tested. Okay, in that case, if I've received the 50 defects, those 50 defects are developed already, and it is the tester's responsibility to test those 50 requirements only for the release one. So any further questions here, or any more clarification is required? Regarding the requirements or anything. So with the given requirements, okay, I'm continuing. So with the given requirements, we will be performing the testing accordingly. So we strictly, our first and foremost source of truth for the testing point of view is your given business requirements. So based on a given requirement, you will be testing the developed application, whether, let's assume let's take an example as a Gmail login. So once you try to log in into the Gmail, like launch the web URL, so you'll be seeing your a page with username, password, and sign in options, right? So that is a set of requirements. Based on that requirements, that page got developed. Okay, so in that case, whether that page is defined based on a given requirements or not is the tester's responsibility to make sure. Okay, so let's assume while you are testing, and while you are at the time of a testing, you identified that the given requirements, like user should be able to log in as a normal user as well as the business admin user. Okay, so there are different roles that can be able to log in as a user. So I might be the admin, some other user might be the normal user role. Okay, if I logged in as a admin, my view of the home page might be different, and user whomever is logging to the Gmail as a normal user who doesn't have an admin, he can view the home page into a different view. Okay, so there is a differentiation. That differentiation again, it will be depending upon a business requirements. The as a tester that we need to take care. If you use the normal user login, you should be able to see a different view for the home page as well as the different view for the admin. So that is where we should be more cautious while testing it. What exactly the business requirement, and what is the login that I'm using, or what is the admin view, or what is the normal user view. So something like that we should be in a position to differentiate. So that is the whole and sole responsibility of the tester that we need to take care, and that is where you can think about it, why the testing is necessary. So for you it's just the login, but for client it is the normal user login and admin, so they can define the requirements properly. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. So I mean, did we understood about what is why is the testing is necessary, or any further questions? I know initially it will be like a theoretical sessions, but I mean, once we started with the actual testing concepts, it will be more interesting. But for now, it's just the basic concepts with respect to testing. But I think it is required. You guys should know about it. So shall I proceed further? Please confirm.
Yes.
Thank you. So I'm moving on to the next topic. What is testing? So we just learned about why is testing is necessary. What is testing? So would you be able to correlate what is testing? I know you have given already a different answers, but can you just give it a try with the knowledge that you gained just now? What is the testing?
Testing means whatever the requirement have been provided, that should get matched with actual results.
Okay. Okay. So if it is matched with the requirement, that should be enough, or any other things that is required?
Not sure.
Okay, so let's assume we are strictly going by the given requirements, and it is working as expected, but you should be in a position to think that with respect to the end user perspective also. Yes, client has given the requirements, but and application is also working in the same way, but we should be in a position to think with respect to the end user as well. Let's assume you are using one of the net banking mobile app. Okay, mobile app you are using for so and so banking application. So currently, just to log in, just to provide a user ID, and then if you click on submit, it is at the time of a testing, it took around you 30 seconds to 40 seconds. So at the with respect to the end user consideration, will the end user will be happy to wait for 30 to 40 seconds just to log in into your mobile net banking app?
No.
No, definitely no. So you can, it might be acceptable for the client, but you always have a possibility express your opinion that, so this is at present it is taking 30 to 40 seconds. I think as an end user perspective, this shouldn't be take this much long, so it should have been taken at least 5 seconds, maximum of 5 to 10 seconds, just to log in. Again, it will be depends upon your internet connection, and it will depends upon your network connections. With all these aspects, the maximum time that we can suggest is 5 to 10. maximum. So that is where we have to follow the requirements, but at the same time you can provide your valuable suggestions to the client as well as the development team. So whether that will be a valid or invalid, that they can decide, but you have always a point to raise it with respect to the end user. Okay, so that is where we are doing the testing perfectly, but the thorough testing with respect to the ease of the end user, user acceptance and user performance, everything to be considered, and then you can provide your suggestions to the client as well as to the developer. Hey, this is what currently it is happening. This seems to be not that acceptable. Still it is working as per the requirement, so they can change it as a change request. They can consider that as not as a defect, or if it is considered, that can be used it as a change request from their end. They can implement it later point, but you have always the possibility to raise your voice and let them know what exactly it is all about. And thorough testing is required for any of the application, yes, till some extent. But if the requirement is not apt to that application, or it is working but you feel this shouldn't be the case, or this shouldn't be the thing that is currently working, you have always a right to talk about and try to discuss anything about with the client. Okay.
Okay. And the
Any,
timing
any
constraint
question?
come under performance testing or manual testing?
Sorry, I lost that.
While login, we notice that it's taking 30 to 20 seconds. So that come under manual testing or performance testing?
It comes under issue from both the sides, but more or less on non-functional testing. So they
Okay.
need to reduce the time to log into the system. So it's definitely a non-functional performance testing.
Okay.
Okay, but you identified while you're doing a manual testing, right? So that can be converted as a non-functional requirement altogether.
Mhm.
Understood, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So if we don't have any further questions, shall I move on to the next slide? Okay, so let's get into the topics about testing types. So in our manual testing curriculum also we spoke about it, like testing types, white box testing and black box testing. So what is all about white box testing? So if you remember, I used one sentence called, it is the responsibility of the developer as well as the tester to make sure the requirements are working properly. So this is where I came from basically. So white box testing. So white box testing mostly will be performing by the development team. That is their primary responsibility that they need to take care. What I mean to say take care is, so let's assume I am as a developer, I have developed so and so requirements in the release one. Okay, but it is my primary responsibility before handing over to the testing team that I should do some sort of a testing. So if you see, I can perform a unit testing. So what is mean by the unit testing? So unit testing is nothing but the developed code will be tested by the same developer, whether it is functioning properly or not as per the given requirements. And at the same time, the same uh, um, the white box testing can be in the form of a peer review. So it might be the case that you might have overlooked, okay, this is the coding that I have done, okay, obviously it will be worked. So I might have that overconfident, or I might have overlooked what I have already developed. Okay, it's always good to have a second eye or a second opinion on the module that you have developed. So it can be sent for the other developer for the peer review. So once the peer review is done, so that can be delivered to the testing team for the further testing purpose. So that is where the white box testing techniques or white box testing concepts will come into the picture, where they'll be taking care of all the integration testings. So integration testing with respect to the module to module, so they can combine all the relevant and available modules together, and they can do one round of a testing from their end. And and in the current agile process, we are make sure as a tester that, hey, whether have you done the unit testing or not, where are the unit testing documents or test results attached, you have right to ask. Okay, so it means that for the agile process, everyone is responsible to do the testing. Everyone is are equal and everyone are right to ask. So where is the interesting documents? So you might be strictly following, you doesn't know about how the application view is looking like, and you doesn't know anything, but based on given unit testing results, you'll just come to know, okay, this is the developed application and this is the view of the application, then only you will come to know. But if nothing has been attached as interesting results, you always try to ask the respective developer that where are the testing results, as the testing is done before delivering to the code to the QA environment or not. we, we have the right to ask. Okay, so um, I mean, what exactly that as a developer they'll be concentrating on this. So this is the one, like industry integration and branches, paths, like a code structure, whether the developed code is as per the standards. So if you are doing it is on Java, so Java might be having some certain standards to follow, like a naming conventions and everything. So is the developer have followed everything or not, will be taken care in the white box testing. Okay, so that is all about the white box testing. So any further questions on this testing types for white box testing before proceeding further to the black box testing?
Hmm.
Okay, thank you. So another testing type I can say it is a black box testing. So where manual testers are involved. So irrespective of whether it is a functional testing, non-functional testing, regression testing, whatever so and so testing types which comes under, everything will be part of the black box testing. So the black box testing will be performed by the testers, and again, it can be divided into functional testing or a non-functional testing. If it is a functional testing, manual testers or automation testers will get involved. If it is a non-functional testing, performance testers will get involved. So again, the functional testing requirement as well as the non-functional requirements might be little different. So what I mean to say little different is, non-functional, to perform the non-functional testing, it is the responsibility of the performance tester to gather the non-functional testing. So it means that one example I would like to give it is, let's assume for functional testing, so we have got the requirement that this is the login credentials that user can be able to log in. So till that it is fine, but for non-functional tester the requirement might be little more enhanced. So what I mean to say enhanced is, so and so user have to be logged in, but the maximum logins per second should be only 10 to 15. So this is the non-functional requirement for the performance tester should take care of it. It means that we will be, as a manual testers, we will be taking care only, okay, whether I can be able to log in with a normal user or I can be log in with the admin user, only I can take care. But what is the maximum count of the users that can be able to log in into the Gmail application will be covered as part of the non-functional testing. So that is where the black box testing technique, testing types will be involved with all the different types of testing. So that different types of testings we will be covered in a further sessions. Any further queries on this black box testing? Okay, thank you. And so this is the testing principles. So I would like to stop the session for today here. We will try to continue because just to these are just the headings. I don't want to give just the headings and not the explanations today. So tomorrow we'll continue with the a full explanation about this testing principles as well. So this is all about the intro about manual testing. So any further queries that you have, please reach out to me and or reach out to the admin team, and we will try to help you with all the information. Thanks for joining.
And are
Before
we going
winding
to
up,
cover
again,
any live?
sorry.
Okay. Are we going to cover any live project?
That's what, right? I've mentioned in the curriculum. So we will be practicing on one web application. Any one web application, I need to gather some information. So I'll be sharing with you guys so that everyone should be able to access that. We will be doing that at the end of this session.
Will be that banking project or any other?
I mean, with the information that you gain just now, so will that matter to you? Like what exactly, whether it is a banking, insurance, or healthcare? No, as a tester, it's just the application to you. But the no, you might be gaining the knowledge based on the domain. That's it. Like you might be more flexible while using the application. These are all the only two benefits. But as a tester, it is a sample application or it is an application to you. It it is came for the testing. That's it. Am I making sense, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any further questions before winding up the call?
When we try to search jobs, then mostly manual testings are for banking domain only, plus
Okay.
automation testing. So
Okay.
whether manual testing scope is greater as compared to automation? Any suggestions?
See, nothing like that. It's just all about the flexibility. So even if you're trying to looking for a jobs in automation, but you should know first of all what is testing is all about, right? So will you be able to
Yes.
directly learn the tool without knowing anything? Just my view is you should know what is all about the testing first of all. Then once you come to know what exactly it is all about, then you might have your own choice to choose about automate in which automation tool you can be able to sustain.
Okay.
Okay, because by that time you are already diving into this manual concepts and you are much habituated with all these terminologies and everything, so that you will just definitely come to know uh, what is the right automation tool that I can be able to choose or something. Yes, it is added advantage to know or to learn automation as well, but without knowing anything, it's okay. Like if you have joined into the company directly as a fresher and then they have started training, you don't have further option, you need to learn it as a mandatory.
Okay.
But here it's good to know this concepts first and then you can go to the automation.
Is it necessary to learn automation tool to sustain in market, or we can proceed with manual testing as a query?
Sorry, I lost that.
Is it necessary to have automation tool knowledge to sustain in market, or we can proceed with manual testing as a career?
I mean, with the current trend, I can say still we have a possibility for manual testing, but you can see it, right? Like now artificial intelligence or machine learning, so everything is coming to picture and everything is automated, but still there is a market for testing as well. Yes, so nothing can completely anything can be automated. I can't agree with that. No, we can't do.
Okay.
Okay, I think there is a comment from Ritu. Mm, change the timing. So, Ritu, what is the convenient time generally? I mean, if it is for you to attend regularly, so what is the time convenient for you? Ritu, you can provide in the chat your response actually. I'll just take a look. Or you can just let the admin team also know that what is the convenient time for you. So I'll try to see if that time just for everyone and to myself will change it accordingly. Okay. Any further queries or any further suggestions? Okay, I think I'll take the silence as no, and let's wind up only for today, and good day to everyone, and thank you so much for your time to join the call. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Have a nice day.
Thank you,
Thanks
Isha.
everyone. Bye.
Those